Let me quote the president from his White House press conference. Every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again.
Current First Lady and former Epstein girl Melania Trump looks like she just underwent torture after the White House Easter egg roll, and she offered some very weird remarks to boot. In case you need further proof that Melania really hates her job, not to mention her marriage, and like Donald himself is looking for some kind of escape, in his case, Iran, stay tuned. Or for that matter, if you just enjoy seeing Melania miserable, you will also enjoy this story.
He warned that very little is off limits, and the entire country of Iran can be taken out in one night.
Full tale next, here on The David Reddish Show. Welcome to the show and happy post-Easter, beautiful Occupy Democrats viewers. I am your host. And once again, please remember to subscribe to our new channel now if you have not. You will stay up to date on all breaking stories out of Washington, whether they deal with geopolitics or just the horrible case of stupid everyone in this administration seems to suffer from. It's a pandemic of its own at this point. Either way, follow the link to our main channel page in the description and help get the word out. I need to pay my bills. But let's get to our breaking story, shall we? Today marks the annual White House Easter egg roll, a time-honored tradition that sees the first couple welcome children and their families to the lawn for festivities.
The president made it clear he is not concerned about accusations of war crimes.
As you might recall, last year it did not go over too hot as Melania Trump looked like a hostage while reading to children. Here's a little recap.
The end. So what did you learn from the book? Anyone? Tell me.
And if you thought that was bad and Melania looked uncomfortable, stay tuned. It does get worse. Melania, of course, has a long history of hating her life in the White House and her duties as First Lady. If you want to see her getting grinchy with the White House Christmas tree, see our other videos here on the channel. Perhaps because of her discomfort last year, Melania made some changes to her format after reading to the kids this year. Take a look.
Nice to see you. Happy Easter Monday. Enjoy the White House. It's a special place. Have a good time. I'll see you next year. Bye.
Now, why has this crisis reached such a boiling point? The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most critical waterways in the world.
Notice how she doesn't take any questions there. She just gets up and leaves with a goodbye as hollow as her marriage or her heart. But I digress. Of course, this year is also different from last year as the United States is now in the midst of an illegal war with Iran, one with no end in sight and which continues to make President Chickenhawk look powerless. Let me say that again. The Iran war makes the President of the United States look powerless. And if you need further proof, check this out. Though she ran from the stage, Melania did not exactly make a clean exit as she and President Stifilis stopped to chat with reporters. And check out her Easter message about the war to the children of America.
Nearly 20 to 30% of the world's daily oil supply flows through this narrow passage.
What would you like to ask her?
What she wants to say, Madam First Lady, can you tell us your message to children who find themselves in war zones during this Holy Week?
Well, all of this is happening for their future, so they will be safe in years to come.
Children that are now in a war zone, we're keeping them as safe as we can possibly keep them. But we're fighting for their parents, their grandparents, we're fighting for them, we're fighting for their future. And I will tell you, it was given to me loud and clear, the time the Iranian people are the most unhappy when you hear bombs all over is when those bombs stop. That's the problem. It's when they stop, because that means that Are they coming back? We want to have them back. And, you know, everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. So hopefully it can be over with quickly. Again, there are lots.
Iran's recent actions have sent shockwaves through global energy markets, and oil prices have become extremely volatile.
Of different alternatives. We have many alternatives.
I know the audio was a little wonky there, so let me just repeat. When asked about her message to children regarding the war, Melania said, quote, "Well, all of this is happening for their future, so they will be safe in years to come," close quote. And Trump interrupts her to say that America's children are living in a, quote, war zone, which I don't know if Melania recalls, but Trump started this war with Iran that did not attack us, nor did it have the capability to build a nuclear weapon. And what do you suppose Melania would have to say to all the kids that cannot go play with their friends because their parents can't afford the gas to take them there? What would she say to children who don't have as much to eat because prices keep rising and their families can't afford food?
President Trump insists freedom of navigation through the strait must be part of any final deal. Freedom of navigation is a top priority. No deal without it.
That's a question I'd love for her to answer. But here's what I want to ask you, beautiful viewers. How much do you want to bet that was former Attorney General and garage sale Barbie Pam Bondi in the Easter Bunny costume? I hear she still needs a job. This is the David Reddish Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We begin tonight with a story that has the entire world on edge. Tensions in the Middle East have escalated to a dangerous new level as the deadline set by U.S. President Donald Trump for Iran draws dangerously close. In a dramatic escalation, President Trump has issued a stark ultimatum to the Iranian leadership. Reopen the Strait of Hormuz fully by 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight or face devastating consequences. Just hours ago, the president posted on Truth Social, warning in no uncertain terms, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will." This comes after an expletive-laden message over the weekend in which he declared that Tuesday would be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day in Iran. He warned that if the strait is not reopened, the United States military will target and destroy every major bridge and every power plant across the country. Let me quote the president directly from his Monday press conference at the White House. "Every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again. We have a plan, because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night." President Trump went even further, stating that very little is off limits and that the entire country of Iran, home to more than 90 million people, can be taken out in one night. He made it clear he is not concerned about international accusations of war crimes, saying the U.S. has overwhelming military superiority and is prepared to act decisively. Now, why has this crisis reached such a boiling point? For context, the Strait of Hormuz is one of the most critical waterways in the world. It is the narrow passage through which nearly 20 to 30% of the world's daily oil supply flows. Iran's actions in recent weeks, effectively restricting or blocking shipping through the strait amid the ongoing regional conflict, have sent shockwaves through global energy markets. Oil prices have been extremely volatile. Any prolonged closure threatens severe economic consequences not just for the United States and its allies, but for economies across Europe, Asia, and beyond. President Trump has insisted that freedom of navigation through the strait must be part of any final deal to end the broader Middle East conflict. He has also linked this demand to the larger goal of preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons and dismantling what he calls decades of Iranian extortion and corruption in the region. During yesterday's press briefing, the president also highlighted a successful U.S. rescue mission. He described how 21 American aircraft were involved in rescuing downed U.S. airmen after their jet was shot down over Iranian territory. He used this to underscore America's military reach and readiness. On the other side, Iran has remained defiant. Iranian officials have rejected any temporary or partial ceasefire. They have warned that any U.S. strike on civilian infrastructure will trigger an immediate and proportionate response. one that could extend well beyond the region. Reports from Tehran indicate that Iranian authorities are urging citizens, including young people, to form human chains around key power plants to protect them. Iranian state media has called Trump's threats foolish and dangerous, while promising a strong retaliation if attacked. International reactions have been mixed. Several U.S. allies, particularly in the Pacific, such as Japan, South Korea, and Australia, have faced criticism from President Trump for not providing enough support in the current operations. European nations, including the UK, have so far ruled out participating in any offensive strikes against Iranian infrastructure. Global markets are reacting nervously. Oil prices spiked again today amid fears of wider disruption. Stock markets in Europe and Asia opened lower, and analysts warn of potential energy shortages and inflation if the strait remains closed or if major Iranian oil facilities are damaged. As this deadline approaches, now just a few hours away, the big question on everyone's mind is, will Iran comply? Or will President Trump follow through on his threats? White House officials say back-channel talks are still ongoing, with some mediators involved. The president himself said Iran appears to be negotiating in good faith, but added that time is quickly running out. If the U.S. does carry out strikes on power plants and bridges, the humanitarian impact could be enormous. Millions of Iranians could lose electricity, water supply, and transportation links. Hospitals, schools, and civilian life would be severely disrupted. Critics inside and outside the U.S. are already calling these threats reckless and potentially illegal under international law.